What's going down, guys? It's your boy DJ Marcellus Doe. Today we're putting the ProX Polaris Stands against the Gravity Stands to see which one's is better. So nowadays, you know, us DJs and even mobile entertainers in general, we are trying to run away from truss because truss is big, it's heavy, it's clunky. Nobody wants to deal with truss anymore. So what are we doing? We're moving over to the base plate pole style stands like the Gravity Stands or the ProX Polaris Stands. So we're gonna talk about those two options today. I think they're the most two popular on the market. We're gonna go over their bag style, the base plate design, overall quality, and stability with hoe and movers on them. So we're gonna also mount those movers up today with our ProX speaker mount stands here. You can put your bolts to mount to your adapters for your stands and get them mounted up. So let's get into it. All right, so in the first half of the video here, we're gonna get into talking about the base plates, the designs, the bags, and the size. And we get into the weight of everything later on in this video. But first off, with the Gravity Stand bag, mainly because green's my favorite color. And we have been using the Gravity Stands for the longest. The Gravity Stand bag is real nice. Like I said, we had these for a while. They have held up. Now, it does open up pretty wide so that you can get your base plate fully out of there, which is real nice. The total size of the bag itself is 23 by 23. So perfect square, 23 by 23. And I'm gonna go ahead and pour that out here so we can leave that on the table. Like I said, overall, real good bag here on the Gravity Stand bag. On the ProX side here for the Polaris Stands, their bag is 24 by 24. So with my guess, slightly bigger base plate inside of this bag. Overall, double padded bag, super nice as well. I would say they're both pretty comparable. Now the one thing that ProX did, that Gravity Stand didn't, is they put these little rubber feet on the bottom of the bag, so when you got them on the base, that it doesn't rip up the bag too much. So in the trailer, in the warehouse, this is kind of how we store them, straight up vertically, and it won't mess up the bottom of the bag, even if you're dragging and pulling it around. So real nice. Let's go ahead and open that up. They both do have a Velcro handle here to close your grip. Same big wide opening. Now this is new. We can go ahead and lay that base plate down now. Pretty big base plate. It's not a perfect square. It does have like these rounded corners on the side and compare it to the Gravity Stand base plate. But overall, both real nice bags, real nice base plates. And each base plate for both companies have their separate bag. So there's not a bag that carries two of the base plates inside of them. All right, now before we move on to the next thing, I want to run over here to our scale. We're gonna weigh both of these products. We're just gonna do an individual base plate and then both of the poles in the bag. So starting off with the Gravity here, let me make sure we're on 0 on our scale here. We are looking at about 33.2 pounds for the Gravity Stand base plate. Now let's set that to the side. We're gonna do the poles here. Make sure that's teared out. Now and remember, this is a 2 set of poles here. Now for the 2 set of poles, we're looking at slightly under 20 pounds, 19.9 pounds. Now, jumping over here to the ProX stuff, we're gonna grab one of their bags. For the ProX stuff, we're looking at about 30.5 pounds for the base plate there. And now for 2 of the poles in a bag. Right under 10 pounds, 9.8 pounds. So as you can tell, Gravity Stand is a lot heavier than the ProX stuff, but both, in my opinion, are super solid. So let's jump back over to the setup. Now that we're done talking about the base plates, we're gonna jump over to the actual pole part of each of these. And as you can probably see from the video already, that the ProX Polaris Stands are significantly shorter. Now, these are originally meant to be speaker stands, so I will give them that, but they are significantly shorter compared to the Gravity stands. So I'm gonna set the Gravity here first, and then we'll go through the ProX bag and talk about the design, the way the poles go in, and the overall quality. So the ProX bag here is 44 inches total, roughly about 6 inches wide for the bag. Now it is a single zipper operation for the bag here. It does seem double padded as well. You do got a carrying little shoulder strap to carry in to the venue, so that's pretty nice, adjustable. But getting into the bag here, it comes your poles. There's a little divider in the middle, and I will hold this up so you can see, to kind of split those 2 poles so that they're not touching and scratching each other inside the bag. I would say it's a lot more room in here than you kind of really need, but that makes it good because now you can just toss them in there and not have to worry about how tight the bag is with the poles inside of it. So I'm going to set this down. So the total length of the pole collapsed all the way down from base to height is about 45.5 inches. Then we're going to go ahead and just screw this into the center. And I will do a total height of it all the way up once we get these on the ground and start putting movers on them. Now over to the Gravity stands. Like I said, we have been using these the longest, and there's a couple reasons. I'll get into that later. But as the general bag goes, the bag is a nice double padded bag. Now Gravity has a 2-zipper design here with a little pull handle so that you can open up both of the zippers at the same time. You do got your Velcro handheld strap, no shoulder strap in comparison to the ProX ones. The bag size is about 55 inches by 5 inches. So a little smaller of a bag when it comes to the width, but a lot longer of a bag because you'll see why. These poles are in general a lot longer. So you do got a little Velcro here to close that up after you zip it. So once you Velcro, you can pull it down. You got your middle flap that opens up. Now the Gravity stand bag is a little finicky because of how tight it was. That was one thing I was given to the ProX bag, is how much room it got in it. You're not forced to like make sure those poles are in there the correct way. Now they both still do have a divider inside, but we're gonna go ahead and pull out one of those poles. We'll set the bag to the side. Now the pole at collapse length right out of the bag is a little under 55 inches. So not too much bigger than the actual bag, but we will, like I said, talk about the fully heightened height on these when we put these on the ground and start putting movers on them. Now, before we get these movers mounted up, I just want to make this aware. These ProX little speaker mount stands here, we do offer them on our website now, so feel free to head over to bothlightingusa.com to cop them. Same with, like I said, the ProX Polaris stands as well, but they're super unique because they allow for so many different mounting options. And I'll show you, this is how we're going to mount the BPM beams up today on those stands. And they got all these holes here, even with the center hole. So what I did with the BPM bracket here is I put a bolt all the way down the middle there and then locked my bracket on top here. So now I can just go screw my bracket onto my mover and put my mover up, besides the old method I was using of putting the mover with the bracket and then trying to bolt it in. And that's what I'm gonna be doing for the other BPM beam today with the gravity stand. So yeah, just a little quick tip there, but we're gonna get these mounted up and then we'll do a stability test. All right, so we got both of the movers up on it. I'm gonna let them move. They're just doing the auto program. I decided to not do the DMX just to save time for the video's sake, but I'll let this play for a little bit, let you guys see it, and then I'll talk through it. So as that's going on as well, you remember I was just standing there and I said both stands can get well over people's height, average head height. Like I said, I'm 6'3", and I think both of those movers were high enough for me not to be annoyed throughout the evening. Since those been going for a little bit now, you can definitely tell the difference in the gravity stands versus the ProX. Now the ProX stands are a little bit more wobbly than the gravity stands over here, but that's highly due to the build, the size of the pole, and in general, the cost of these two products. Now, in general, do we get asked or a question about these moving while we're at an event? No, we don't, because most of the time you're doing movements at an event, it's when the party is actually going. So do I think you can go wrong with either stand? Honestly, no. What it really comes down to is if you want to use the stand for more than just your movers and potentially speakers, right? So the ProX stands over here, these are significantly cheaper than the gravity stands over here, but the height on the ProX stands don't go up as high as the gravity stands. And with that being said, you can use these gravity stands for projectors and like your monograms or even a spotlight if you needed to, with as high as it got there. So way more flexible, but way more costly. As far as bag design goes, both of them get a 10 out of 10 on the bag designs. Pretty simple bag, but it's built well. It seemed like they will last both as equal. Now the tube stand bag for the gravity one is a tad bit more padded, but I don't think that make a big deal in the long run. These are about $297 for a 2 set with the bag. So about $300 for the 2 set with the bag. These are about $750 for a 2 set with the bag. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to know, which one do you think you all would choose to be your stand of choice? Make sure you comment in the description below, and also hit that like and subscribe on the video. We truly appreciate your support. Give me a follow at DJ Marcellus Doe on Instagram, and see ya. Peace.